What's up, everybody? Welcome into Driving the Line. My name is Alan Bell. We got a fantastic show lined up for you this lovely Thursday, but we want to start by sending our condolences out to everyone involved in the aviation accident last night in the D.C. area. And in fact, our guest today is in the D.C. Beltway area. And I told him, man, you just take a step back, buddy. We'll have you again. One of my best friends in the world. And so we had to adjust, had to adapt, but we're not saying that as an excuse. And that's certainly not a problem because people are going through real things. And all of us here at DTL, I know it's not much, but it's what we can do. And we say condolences as well as, people like Seabass, man, buddy. I love you. I know that you're in that area as well. And, all love from us, man. So just want to make sure that that we give and send our proper condolences and get that going. All right, let's get on with the show. And first, we got to just take a look at yesterday before we take a look at today. And here's, how we did. 2-2-1. Indiana State wins by exactly 5. That's a nice game. It was fun. But we get Clay, we get Virginia, Northern Iowa, and Houston, West Virginia. Houston's defense came back out. So, 2-2-1. It is what it is. Now, like I said, we had to adjust. And again, that's not a problem, okay? We could do it. There are people dealing with much more significant issues than us. But one of our guys, all right? You got to meet him a little bit yesterday, and we're going to do much more and get to know him today. So I take that screen off, and I bring in our man, Brad Betts. How we doing, buddy?
Doing great, AB. Another good day, another tough day of fixture slates throughout the world. Lots going on, lots of information we need to know and have in our arsenal before we attack the slate, especially live. It's one of those slates that we want to attack live. Lots to go over, lots of information happening. And if anybody has any questions, drop them in the chat.
Well, I'll tell you this. Number one, I'm going to have questions because I can't pronounce most of these teams. But number two, before we get started and jump into it, I want everybody just to get to know you, right? Like you're part of our crew now and you're part of our family, and it means something. You know what I mean? So just give us a background, man. I understand. I mean, obviously, you've been in this space in terms of sports betting, but my man, you were a player as well. So I want to break down just you so we all get to know you, and not to put you on the spot, but yeah, just a little bit about you, buddy.
Awesome. Brad Betts Footy, Bradley Jacobs here out of Nashville, Tennessee. I'm a former soccer player, grew up playing soccer my entire life. I coach soccer. I hold a license with coaching soccer, as well as I played semi-professional soccer for Nashville SC. And it was at the time Nashville FC, right before Nashville SC became a professional franchise in the MLS. We were a semi-professional franchise, completely supporter-owned 100%, paid for by everybody who attended and supported us. And that's the entire story of where Nashville SC got its roots. And now it's all the way up in the MLS. So I am a proud kid. I remember the first tryout. What an honor it was. But that's a little bit of my playing as well as my coaching and understanding background. But as far as sports gambling and betting, I have been a soccer gambler pretty extensively for about 4 years now. Once Tennessee went legal, it was the time where I could really dive in, and I have a really extensive knowledge and understanding of the players, understanding of tactics, how things are set up, how competitions are played, because I've played in similar type of competitions. So I just feel like I have a little bit of an extra advantage in the sport. I don't focus on a lot of other sports. Soccer is my sport that I focus on because there's so much. And I know you mentioned yesterday, what season is soccer even? Well, that's a loaded question because soccer doesn't stop. It depends on the league throughout the world. Some you have leagues coming back right now throughout the world. Some you have leagues that will be finishing in May. So we always want to be mindful of trying not to attack leagues too early, not to attack leagues too late, and always have a good understanding of who's playing when, what games happen, and what matters the most.
My man, you speak eloquently and beautifully. You are a pro at this for sure. And you spoke about Nashville SC, and when it was coming up, and then becoming a full-fledged member there, in the MLS. And now we see, because we're both in Nashville, and you see the practice facility over in the Cane Ridge area, and obviously Geodis Park. I mean, it's just come up so much, and us both having been in Nashville for a while, soccer wasn't that way, right? And I mean, we could go back to when the Nashville Predators came. I mean, we were young, when that happened, but hockey's come up, right? Like we see, all the Ford Ice Centers and all of that. And it's just cool to see how much the sport has blown up, because it's clearly, I mean, everybody loves it. You know what I mean? So that part definitely, man, is cool. All right. So we'll talk more about that, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody just got to know you, my man, just a little bit more. And we'll certainly dive in to soccer and all that, because I have questions, and I know that there are folks out there that do too. But my boy, we have one thing that we have to do right now, and that's called the picks. Okay, so I'm going to let you go first. You've got one play on here, and I believe it's Nice. Is that how it's pronounced?
You got it. It is
one for one, baby. Let's go.
It is Nice out of France. We're attacking a pick today in the Europa League in a fixture of Nice versus Bodo Glimt. This is an interesting matchup because Nice are playing for nothing, and Bodo Glimt do have something to play for. They need points, but also they need a little bit of goal differential in order to overcome some of those people who are in the table around them. What everybody needs to know today is every single goal is going to affect every single goal. And this is a match where it takes on its own personality and it has its own set of rules. So we don't necessarily have to worry about a lot of the other matches, which is why I've chosen specifically to take this one. So Nice, they come in scoring in 35 of 39, but specifically 19 straight when they're at home. They concede in 30 of their last 35, as well as all 8 in Europa this season. So they're scoring and conceding in Europa. They've scored and conceded in the home or at home. They've scored and conceded in all of those Europa matches. They've hit both teams to score in 12 of 15 and 13 of 15 at home. They've hit over 2.5 in 12 of the last 13 that hit BTTS. So you expect when they hit both teams to score, the over 2.5 come in. But you have, and they're averaging as well 3 goals per match in their 7 matches in Europa. That's very important, as you see what our pick is today. Then you have Bodo Glimt, who scored in 33 of 37 and 2+ in 8 of 10, conceded in 28 of 38 in Europe, but more specifically, 28 of 38 coming in, but 17 of 20 in Europe and 2+ in 8 of the last 11. So they're coming in, conceding in form, conceding multiple goals, especially when they're away from home, they concede. They've had both teams to score in 15 of the last 19 in Europe. So they're a regular performer when they get in Europe, not just in their domestic league. And they hit over 2.5 in 11 to 12. They've hit over 2.5 in 16 and 19 in Europe. And they've hit over 2.5 in 39 and 43 that hit BTTS. So both of these teams, when they like to hit the BTTS, they like to hit that over. And with Bodo Glimt with more to play for, and that you saw them take on Maccabi Tel Aviv and absolutely stomp them last time out, even though they gave up a goal at home. They are coming back from break. They should be scoring multiple goals. They need to overturn at least 3 goals in the table around some of those like-minded teams in order to conceivably expect that a win and goal differential could jump them, because just a win and not overturning some of that goal differential doesn't do as much as they need in order to get to that top flight. What most people don't really understand is every team playing today actually does have something to play for. What is it? Money. Every place on the table gets you a little bit more money. Every win gets you a certain amount of money. And every position higher, you get into that top 8, you get more money. And then you get to the knockout stage, you get more money. This is a money competition. These are for all teams who might not be back in this competition next year, want to try to make and maximize all the revenue that their club can have, because we're still not finished with the transfer market. We have another 3 days left. So teams are leaving, players are leaving. And I have a number of players that we can go over as well that are affecting today's slate, very specific players for today as well. So if anybody has any questions on a specific match, specific player, drop it in the chat and any other match in Europa, just let me know. But again, what I mentioned, what you guys saw on the tab, my favorite bet is the over 3, which means if we get that 3, we should be able to get a push. And with both teams where they sit, there's no reason to sit back. There's only reason to go and get goals, which so if I expect 3 goals to hit, then I expect that 4th one. But also if Bodo Glimt comes out, takes care of it all, we get that push.
My man, I'm just going to go get breakfast. Like, you can handle the rest of the show. You got it, dude. That was fantastic. Now, we have some questions here in the chat, and I'm going to go over my bets, but just take a look. So I'm going to start here and just kind of put them up here. Jonesy, our man, says, looking for a couple, both teams to score, team totals, maybe a draw, no bet. Just think on it. You don't have to answer it this second. I'll go over mine because obviously I don't want to put you just immediately on the spot, even though you are a walking Encyclopedia Britannica, my dude. But yeah, we had that one. We also had, let's see here. I'll find it here in just a second. But anyways, yeah, think on that one, and we'll get back to it. Now, as for me, 3 plays here, we're going to go college basketball. And look, these two first ones, I know everybody's been waiting for these games. All right, first off, we're going to go Drexel. Really nice matchup today. They should get themselves high 70s to mid 80s, play a little bit of defense, but enough defense. This should be a nice, strong play and win for Drexel. We're actually going to go Wagner and Stonehill over 121.5. Again, you have 2 teams, not the best in the world and clearly not the biggest brands that are out there. That being said, we do love a game where you have a short spread and the potential of a back and forth, especially with a low total in terms of 121.5, because this is a game, quite frankly, in 2 teams that should be playing in the mid 130s. So we're going to take advantage of this while we can before that total jumps up. When anybody figures out that Wagner and Stonehill are actually playing a basketball game today. And then finally, Ja Morant over 1.5 threes. Look, big game tonight. All right. Got the Rockets on absolute fire. You wonder how long is that stretch going to go? And Ja Morant and the Grizz, their last game out, dude, against the Knicks, Brad. All right. Morant couldn't buy. Let me speak in soccer terms. This man couldn't buy a goal. You could have gone out, all right, to your practice facility and put 2 nets just side by side with no goalie, and our man, who's one of the best players in the league, just one of those nights where it just is not going in. And that doesn't happen very often. I've got a feeling Morant is going to go off tonight. So we're going to take those 3 plays right there, specifically Ja Morant over 1.5 threes at minus 115. Now, all right, the question that we asked you, any thoughts to it? Did anything pop up for you?
First, the only thing that popped up first was Ja Morant. Yeah. I love Ja. I mean, come on. I went to school at the University of Memphis. So I was there during the Mike Conley years. I was there for the triple overtime against Oklahoma City. And that was my first NBA experience. So that is my fond memory. So I am fond of Ja a lot. So go Ja. Absolutely. He works super, super hard. I like him. So there are some questions in the chat, and there are some matchup specifics.
Yep. Let it rip.
I have a number of matchups that I have targeted, but also have some issues. Like I mentioned yesterday, there are some things, some underlying issues that we want to monitor when we're going after certain matches. So let's take a look. We targeted Maccabi Tel Aviv out of Israel last time out. They are a scorer and a conceder. Europe, domestic league, 16 straight coming in. They've conceded in 14 of 15, but they've hit BTTS in Europe in 14 of 50, or in 14 of 15 of their last matches, and then 14 of 19 in Europe. So they're regular performers. Back at home, over 2.5 and 16 of 7 and 10 of 11 in Europe. But the problem with Maccabi Tel Aviv is, if you're not familiar, they're from Israel. And what's the problem with Israeli soccer teams? They're not playing on their domestic soil, so they don't have a home match. They're playing this match in Serbia against Porto. Again, and this Porto team they have a new coach. In the last 5 matches, this coach came over from MLS Next Pro side, the Legacy team, which is the 2nd division of the Charlotte Pro team. So he's come in and taken over FC Porto, one of the top clubs in Portugal, We have not seen a regular performance from FC Porto since he arrived in January. So that's some real cause for concern. Yes, I would love to attack Maccabi Tel Aviv, but Porto's leaving me way too many questions. They've only conceded in 10 of their last 15, but they didn't score in a few of their recent matches as well. So that's a bit scary. There was a question in the chat for FC Twente, Twente, and Besiktas out of Turkey. This is another great matchup between two squads who have everything to play for. They're both sitting, I want to make sure I have it right, Porto's at 8, but Besiktas is at 9, right on the cutoff line at that 24 mark. 24 and 25, if you finish at 25, you miss the knockout altogether. You finish above 24 or 24 and above, you make the knockout stage. So 9 through 24 is going to be the same position. Yeah, you're going to have some monetary value that you get, but you're still in the same position. So you might see some complacency with some teams who they know, let's be honest, every single goal is going to affect another team. There are, let's count them. We have between 11 points and 9. That's 2-point difference, which 3 points is a win. So one match can overtake all these squads. We're talking Rangers, Alkmaar, Union, Ajax, PAOK, Real Sociedad, FC Midtjylland, Elfsborg, Roma, Ferencváros, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, FC Porto, FC Twente. Everybody that I just named in this group has an issue. So we see these two teams playing one another here at the bottom. Well, FC Twente, they score regularly. They concede regularly. The problem with them is they don't hit that over 2.5. They've only hit over 2.5 in 2 of their last 10 matches. So yes, both teams' scores coming in pretty frequently. But if both teams' scores coming in and not over 2.5, you have to look at those lines. Both teams' scores juice to heck. You'd have to parlay that over 2.5, which is the scary line. Besiktas, they have a new coach, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, former of Manchester United. They've looked fantastic since they've come back. They have everything to play for, scored in 31 of 34, conceded in 13 of their last 15 in Europe. Everything sets up for this to have goals on both ends. Problem is, we just don't know how many goals. So you're really kind of playing with fire if you add that 2.5. So it may be something you look at live. If it drops, look for the both teams. If one team score, look for the other team to equalize. Same thing with a number of matches. But let's talk about another match that it has a lot of effect on multiple ends. So what I mentioned, the transfer market, and stop me if you need me to stop. But
I'm not stopping a damn thing. You just keep going.
The transfer market is still open. And for those who don't know, AB, you might not be as aware of this, but players can only transfer at certain times of the year. And during those certain times, you can transfer anywhere. Pretty much no rules, just money. Money will take a player from point A to point B, but only during certain times. So we have 3 days left of what is called the January transfer window, the second window. It lasts from January 1 to the end of January, stops early February. That's 2 days from now. And in the last few days of the transfer market, every single hour, a new player leaves. And these are important players, big money players, players you need in their lineup. So let's take a look at one match specifically where that's affected. We have Ajax. Ajax today is taking on Galatasaray. And Ajax is a bit of a difficult club to peg, but Galatasaray is over through and through. They're both averaging over 3.0 plus goals per match in Europa, but Ajax just agreed to terms to sell their captain, their center midfield player, Jordan Henderson. So if they're missing their leader, the guy who kind of helps tick the boxes, there could be some complacency. They need a victory today in order to avoid some of those issues that I had spoke on previously. So that's one that you need to be worried about. There are players leaving. John Durant, who was on the bench yesterday.
Is that John's brother?
Durant. Sorry, not John Durant.
I'm kidding.
Duran,
I'm kidding. Keep going.
Jhon Durant just got sold from Villa to Al Nassr. Al Nassr at a Saudi have a match here today at 11. So he might, I don't know if he's going to make the bench, but he literally left yesterday's game after it ended, flew, and is now taking part with another club. You have Hakim Ziyech, also in this Galatasaray squad, just got sold to Al Duhal out of Qatar. So another name, another player who is important that is gone as of last night. You have the Fenerbahce, or there's a center back for Fenerbahce that might be coming in, which could really improve their defense. They absolutely need points on that cutoff line. This is a very scary slate. Like I said, it's one of those you really want to know the information and just try to attack it live at advantageous points.
Let me say, okay, I think I know a guy who knows the information. Take you a drink, brother. My goodness, dude. You just let it rip. That was phenomenal, man. And look, all kidding aside, this is exactly why I'm so proud to have you here. And I know that the entire crew as well, because what we're about is understanding the why in regards to betting, right? Like, why are we betting this? What is the game flow, right? Like, there's all kinds of things that go into it, and you just let it rip. Now, not to steal your thunder, because my God, I could never do that. Let me speak real quick on something that I am knowledgeable about. The question in the chat. Our man Gabe says, flying out to Vegas for the weekend for my birthday. Any recommendations? Oh, I've got a recommendation for you. Okay. So right there in the middle of the strip, all right, right by Caesar, the Bellagio, right across the street, there's a Planet Hollywood. Okay. You walk in that hotel, a fine residence. All right. You go in, you've got the casino there on the floor. Take a right, go around, and you're going to see a little area, and it's a place called the Earl of Sandwich. Okay. I'm not kidding. Go to there. You're going to wait in line just a little bit, but they'll get you in and out. It is the best sandwich that you're going to find in all of the Las Vegas metropolitan area. So there you go. You just broke down pretty much every soccer league on planet Earth. And yeah, I had a sandwich to talk about. So there we go.
There's so many soccer leagues, AV. It's like nearly impossible to get to. For instance, Saudi has so much money now. Their second division side just bought a player from Lyon, their first team, which is a top team in France. Yes, they're having financial problems and need to sell people, but this is the state of the world we're in right now, where Saudi Arabia's second division is spending nearly what? Not nearly, but they're spending some of the money that some of these top 5 divisions are spending. So we're seeing a lot of turnover throughout the world. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to catch yourself in the wrong side of a bet. It's not where you want to be.
No, it's not. Our man Russell says, hey, B, you need to say all those team names. There's no chance that I can say those at all. Dude, you are fantastic, man. Our man Randall dropped in a super chat of $19.99 for Taco Bell. Randall, our guy. Thank you so incredibly much. Melanie says, and Melanie, she's the minister of culture over here. All right. You know how we've got at Texas football, you've got Matthew McConaughey. All right. The minister of culture. That's what Melanie is right here. $4.99 super chat. Thank you. Says, get the Cinnabon delights too. There you go. You big Cinnabon guy?
Love Cinnabon.
There we go. There we go.
That's
Okay.
Cinnabon drive-through in Cool Springs.
Yeah. Cool Springs. There we go. See, that's a Nashville native right there. All right. Now, we've got to do one more thing, and I won't keep you. I'll let you get out of here because I know that you got a ton to do today and a ton of soccer. Now, again, our $200 giveaway did not come through. All right. But you get another shot. Okay. So, hey, this is what it's about. Okay. So, everybody in the chat, right? Brad. All right. And for everyone yesterday, in regards to signing up, for Brad, and plug that again here in just a second. The first 10 that I said I'd cover, I'll get with you today. And literally, I'm just going to Venmo or Cash App you the first month. Go ahead and sign up. First month is on me. We definitely want to support Brad because, I mean, my God, dude, you just let it rip. Okay, so here's what we're doing, all right? Again, $200 on the line. We'll choose at random 4 people to win 50 each, okay? Get a little nice, basically a nice, good free bet, or use it on whatever the hell you want, all right? So here's the game, all right? We're going to the NBA. You ready? So we have the Magic at the Trailblazers. Very low total, 212.5. We going over or under 212.5?
We'll go under.
Under. All right. Under 212.5. All right, that's the play. Magic. All right, Trailblazers. Under 212.5. Everybody that writes Brad in the chat, we'll choose 4 at random. Maybe our brand new member, Zach Phelps, can get that for it. No, Zach, I'm messing with you. He was sending over a message earlier that there's so like the membership part on YouTube, there's a some kind of a glitch like with iPhones, right? To where you can't really do all the functionality. And it messed up. I mean, Brad, Zach's been here forever. So it's just funny that like it looks like he's a brand new member. Okay, so under 212.5. All right. So Brad, like I said, I'm not going to keep you. I'm going to jump into some Super Bowl stuff. So I don't want to make you just sit here, and just kind of stare at the screen because I know you got things to do. But again, plug how the crew can find you, both Twitter and then as well as your site and all that.
Absolutely. You can find me on X at Brad Betts Footy. You can also find me at Dub Club for all my picks on a day-to-day basis at Brad Betts Footy as well. I host a show on Tuesdays, Shots on Target. You can find me at Brad Betts Footy on YouTube on Tuesdays. So I like to talk about the slate in a holistic sense. I like to look at leagues top to bottom, see who's scoring. I'm really focused on the goal scoring market. So I look for teams who consistently perform, and I look to attack them over and over again. There's some interesting matchups today, some interesting leagues. We got Saudi Arabia, which has hit over 2.5 goals in 80% of their last 40 matches. I think it's back there. But specifically with Saudi Arabia, the goals are coming late, and there's 3 matches today. So maybe sprinkle those late goals if you're even going to look into them, because most of those game-deciding goals, that 2.5 number, is actually hitting late in the game. So instead of just looking to bet early, these goals are coming in late. There's a Qatar match right now. We talked about it yesterday. It's still going on. So you can take a look at that. But there's also an overnight look at in Australia. Western Sydney is one of the top performers in Australia. So if you're looking for an overnight play, let's just say Western Sydney is a top performer, both teams to score and the over 2.5. They are a regular performer. But that's how you can find me, and you can find all the information. I'm going to stay in the chat as well. So you guys have any more questions? I know there was a few. I'm going to get to them.
My goodness, bro. We're holistic betting. I'm literally crying over here. I was coughing. And look, I mean, we got holistic betting. You've got overnight from Australia across the international date line. My boy, well done. It is so, so good to have you here. Cannot thank you enough. And buddy, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Be good, man. All right, dude. How phenomenal is Brad? My man is absolutely fantastic. So, all right, let's get to a couple things here. All right, I've got to say, all right, real quick, our man, Ben Dickerson, okay? One of my favorite quotes from Pulp Fiction. This is one of my favorite quotes of any movie ever. Yeah, you know why they don't have the quarter pounder with cheese in Europe? Oh, the metric system. Look at the big brain on Brad. Dude, Ben, that is great. That is one of my favorite quotes ever. And Brad, my goodness, buddy, you are phenomenal, buddy. Absolutely phenomenal. So, so thankful and happy to have you here. Now, let me put the picks back up. Everybody that's not in, and yeah, our ticker didn't get to it. We had a lot to adjust this morning, so apologies on that, but we will have that one for sure. I've got Drexel minus 3.5, Wagner, Stonehill over 121.5, as well as John Morant over 1.5 threes, minus 115. Brad is on Nice, Bodo Glimt over 3 at minus 135. Now, wanted to talk a little bit about Super Bowl props. And just take another look. Again, here is our running picks list. Again, we've got another full week leading up to the game, so we have plenty of time next week. But for anybody that's new, hasn't really tuned in, we'd like to get a list going of bets that we're looking at, whether we've placed them already or just monitoring where the numbers are. Eagles money line, Saquon Barkley TD plus 180, Saquon Barkley 2+ touchdowns plus 310. That number has moved a lot already. It's dropped. Saquon Barkley longest rush over 24.5 yards, Patrick Mahomes over 6.5 rush attempts, and a 2-point conversion attempt. You can find that on BetMGM. And I'm sure other books as well, but I get it at BetMGM. And again, this is attempt. It's not a successful 2-point conversion. We only need it to be attempted, and we get both teams. That's at plus 110, because I assure you, somebody's going for it, because we're going to have 2 very, very aggressive squads here. Now, taking a look, all right, at just some things here in regards to the game. We've got the board. We've gone over that. Team total overs. Take a look here. You know, you want to look at your key numbers. You know, 23 and a half, getting it under 24. That's three touchdowns and a field goal. Like you see them. The value is definitely on Philly in terms of the juice. So something to pay attention to there if you're a team totals guy. Now, here's what I want to get to. Because we haven't broken down the quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs, and we will in full. But I just wanted to take another look here and see that, if you just take this data and what the books are telling you is that they believe the Chiefs are going to throw the ball a lot. All right. 249.5 passing yards for Mahomes, 36.5 attempts, 23.5. Like, these numbers are all, like, look at his averages throughout the year. As the season is gone, Patrick has not only had to run the ball more, but he's definitely had to throw it a little bit more as well. But, I mean, these numbers are large, man, for what Patrick usually does. Longest completion, 35.5. Now, you look at Jalen Hurts. These numbers are up from the NFC Championship game. He was around, 190 in terms of passing yards, 209.5. Attempts 26.5, completions 18.5. Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown an interception in the postseason since, I believe, 2021. Like, this dude doesn't turn it over, man. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying, like, in correlation here, where they don't have to throw the ball a lot, like that's when they're really, really difficult to beat, man, because Saquon Barkley really doesn't turn it over. Like, running the ball, playing defense, generally keeps the ball pretty safe, man. So those are quarterbacks. Running backs, we have gone over this, but just another look. I mean, look at the differences here. Kareem Hunt, 46.5 compared to Saquon Barkley, which that number is going to go up. Again, if you're new to betting the Super Bowl, star players, those numbers are only going to go up, man. So identify what you like early. Again, you've got plenty of time, but again, those numbers, because everybody's betting on one game. That's it. And this is the biggest sign-up period for sports books all year long. All right? So you're going to have a lot of people that never bet, ever. This is the first time they're downloading the app. They're signing up an account, right? People are getting their buddies to sign up, get that $150 free bet bonus, right? You're going to have a lot of bets come in. And quite frankly, you're going to have a lot of bets come in from people who really have never done it before, all right? Meaning, who are they going to go to? Players that they know. All right, Saquon Barkley, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, okay? So when you're betting these marquee star players, understand those numbers are only going to go up. You take a look at the receiving here. A.J. Brown, 71.5, Kelce, 63, 6.5 to 5.5 comparatively in receptions, and you can see it right there. So just some things to know and understand as we go along. Take a look at the points per quarter averages here. If you're somebody who likes to bet, I'll tell you, 53% of all points scored in the Super Bowl are in the second half. All right. And generally the fourth quarter. Look at that. The Chiefs haven't scored a single point in the third quarter all postseason. Now, they've only played 2 games, right? But, I mean, you see how these two teams get down. The Eagles, they scored a touchdown in the first quarter in 7 straight games. Okay. This team gets going quick. And the other interesting part is that we just saw this matchup a couple years ago. All right. What I mean by that is that the Eagles have now been here before. This isn't new. They understand the 2 weeks in preparation for it, the bright lights, all the things that are going on during the week leading up to the game. Like, when you're there for the first, and I've never played the Super Bowl clearly, but when you're there for the first time, I mean, there's a lot going on because the entire planet is watching you. All right. But the second time you go, you get it. You're like, oh, okay, I know how to handle this. I know how to do this, right? You know how to just prepare yourself. So, yeah, man, understand that the Eagles, that is experience is a really nice thing to have. Clearly, the Chiefs have it in spades, but that's a good thing to know and to have going into this one when you get your second time around and against a team that you'd like to send a little redemption back their way. So you take a look at the past 9 Super Bowl averages, and I'm not going to read through all of them, but I want to put them on the screen for anybody that hasn't been able to screenshot these. Past 9 Super Bowls, I went through and counted and averaged all of them. 49.4. All right, the totals drop from 49.5 to 48.5. Punts, 8.5, although I'd be a little worried with these two teams. The Eagles seemingly don't ever punt, and the Chiefs, they do more, but yeah. Interceptions, 1.85, and you can see it right there below. First half percentage of total points, 47.4. All right, meaning, what is that, 52.6 in the second half. That means that 52.6 of all the points scored in said game come in the second half. Now, it's pretty close, 50-50, but just goes to show you again when we go back and take a look. All right. That fourth quarter, there might be some points being scored. Just going to put that one out there in regards to that. You can also see completions on average that the winning quarterback has had, that the loser has had. Look at the rushing attempts, okay? Look at the total plays. That is key. Winner, like on the third row there in the middle, winner total plays 66.5 compared to 58.7. What that means is time of possession, okay? That is the key in the Super Bowl. It's a different game, man. All right. Got big, very important commercial breaks that they are going to get to. All right. Halftime in the NFL is generally 12 minutes. This one's 45 minutes, right? Like, it's a completely different style of game that is played. Look at the bottom left on the first row. Winner pass attempts, 39.1 compared to 35.8. Okay. Look at the bottom right in the third column. Winner pass to run percentage. Okay. What that means is, what's the percentage of, if you have total plays, okay, if you have 10 total plays in a game, 6 of them are pass, 4 of them are run, all right, that equals your 10 plays. That's 60% pass to run, all right, for example. 58%. And the key here is this. That 60% mark is where you want to be, okay? And below. Balance. That's what wins Super Bowls. Balanced teams. So when you have that on the field, okay, you can absolutely correlate that to betting. That's why I understand that this slide, you might look at it like, what the hell is this? No, man, like, this is the answer. Like, this is the test answer bank for how Super Bowls are won and how to go about betting them, right? It doesn't mean generally that a team comes out and throws for 500 yards. Look at the bottom in the middle column there, all right? Passing yards of the winner on average, 271 to 265. It's pretty close, man, right? But what you want to find is a team that's balanced, a team that does not find itself down and having to throw a ton, because that is risk, and that is how you lose Super Bowls. And quite frankly, that's how the Chiefs have done it. That's how they've won Super Bowls. But the problem, Philly does this better than anybody on planet Earth, man. So take a screenshot of that. We can talk more about this slide and what it means, but this slide is incredibly important because it shows you what the path is to winning a Super Bowl and winning bets in the Super Bowl. Now, we'll get out of here. Let me go ahead and hit you one last time with our picks. And again, I appreciate everybody adapting with us today. Our guest that we had scheduled talk a little NBA and some college basketball. He's out there in the DC area, and I love him to death. And just said, look, man, let's get you out another time. A lot going on out there. And condolences again to everyone out there in that situation. Just brutal. And I know that condolences and saying that and thoughts and prayers and stuff, like, it only does so much, but we're thinking about you. You know, that's it. So our picks here that we have for today: Drexel -3.5, Wagner Stonehill over 121.5, John Morant over 1.5 threes, and Brad is on Nice Bodo Glimt over 3 at -135. All right. That's all we got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be live today at 3 p.m. Eastern for Driving the Night Line. All right. Best bets, props, picks, everything that we have. Your final stop before the game start tonight. We hit them to you in 5 minutes or less. And anybody in the crew is welcome to come join. If you've ever wanted to get on, give your picks, hey, chair's open. Let's go. Come on. Instructions are in the Discord. If you want to do that, make sure to join our Discord there. It's free, and we have a ton of fun. We'll be live betting. So anyways, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll be live again, 3 p.m. Eastern today. But Till then, everybody, best of luck. Let's cash these damn tickets. It's a great day to have a great day, and we will see you soon. Thanks.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!